Don't tell me you were peeing on
Instead,
somebody.
all of a sudden, I heard a way more concerning noise. A deep voice exclaiming, "What the f***?"
I remember one of the first times I ordered delivery pizza and how awesome I thought it was, because I grew up in such a small town that we didn't have that. We had a Pizza Hut which did not deliver at all back in the day, and a little no-name place. I'm old school Pizza Hut. I still love Pizza Hut to this day more than any other normal chain pizza restaurant. I've had gourmet pizzas that I liked more than Pizza Hut, but I'm pretty traditional when it comes to pizza. Pepperoni, cheese on a pan crust. I like the white sauce too with the chicken on the pan crust with the spinach, but honestly, if I had to order a pizza, it's like that. But we never had delivery in my little small town. The little no-name place didn't do anything. They catered to like baseball games and stuff, you know, like when you'd win your baseball game, you got to go over there, your little league team or whatever, and everybody would have a pizza party. And the pizza was all right. It was cheap, you know. Pizza Hut had a little bit more sophisticated of a menu. We liked it. They even had a little buffet. It was good. But we always had to go over there if we wanted pizza. Or we could do pickup too, but when I moved into the town that I went to college in, and I realized that there was a delivery service for pizza, a couple of them, I was like, this is unreal. I bought so much pizza, man. I bought so much pizza. It was so good to just have it just delivered for a few bucks. Heck yeah. And I never had a bad experience with pizza delivery. Never. I've had pizza that wasn't as hot as it should be or whatever. But for the most part, I never had a bad pizza driver. But there's been some horror stories about some pizza deliveries, you know, that didn't go so hot. We're going to react to them in a couple of days. And it's by one of my favorite narrators of all, Spooked. Make sure to check him out, guys. Go over to his channel and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you like reaction videos, make sure to subscribe to this channel as well. Let's get into the pizza stories.
I deliver pizza, and I've been having a really busy night, non-stop, back and forth, without any time to even pause and take a leak.
Dang.
I've been so busy that I wasn't really thinking about bathroom breaks.
Okay.
But we're also going through a bit of a heat wave in our area, so I've been drinking copious amounts of water. All of a sudden, as I was driving to this particular delivery, the urge to go hit me. Like, things went from 0 to 60 in an instant.
Right.
Thankfully, I was close to the customer, so I could get this one over with quickly. Or so I thought.
Uh-oh.
I pulled up to the house, and it was an area I delivered in before, so I could immediately see that something wasn't right.
Uh-oh.
All the lights were off in the house, not even the glow of a television or anything. It was extra apparent because the streetlight closest to the door happened to be out of order.
Oh.
And on top of it all, the block was dead quiet.
God dang, just completely dark. You know, the nighttime, you would expect it to be dark, right? But everywhere you go, even in some rural areas, most people have outdoor lights when they're awake or at home. Even in the houses, you can see lights, you know, and when it's real dark, especially with no moon, you can see it from a mile away. When you go to a house or a city block or, you know, a village that does not have power, like after the wake of a storm or anything, when it's dark, it's eerie, man. Like, it's really, really creepy that there's actually no lights. It gives it the feeling of a ghost town, which I think makes it scarier. Going to a dark house for pizza delivery sounds like a setup. I've never delivered pizza. I've never delivered anything professionally in my life, right? I've never had to go, you know, to play. I've been on a couple of drives and stuff like this, but I can't imagine what some of these delivery drivers go through, man.
This is a big university area, and obviously there aren't many student renters in July, but there had to be at least one person because someone ordered this pizza.
Yeah.
Maybe they just like sitting in the dark, or maybe they were back in the yard, whatever. I just didn't want to get out of my car and knock on a quiet house in the middle of the night around 9:30 p.m. Without first checking that I had the correct address and the customer was inside.
That's when you call the customer. You'd be like, hey, are you home? Because yeah, the house looks dark and I'm just checking, you know?
It was scorching that night, even after sundown.
God dang.
My car's AC is a joke, and the piping hot pizzas don't help things much.
Right.
So I have to try and open the car door as infrequently as possible to keep any cool air in. I called the number the customer provided, and the voice on the other end said, kind of brusquely and out of breath, "Yeah?" I just tried to keep it clear and concise. "Hey, it's your pizza out front, but there doesn't appear to be anyone home." And the customer replied, still gasping for air, "Yeah, I'm not home." I had to pee so badly by that point that I was much less patient than I'd otherwise be with the customer right out of the gate.
You just called.
Well, then we're going to have to terminate the order because I've arrived in the stated delivery window and you were supposed to pay in cash. So, right. I don't know what to tell you. Plan ahead next time. I instantly regretted letting my bladder do the talking for me as the voice on the other end came through more clearly as a young, bubbly, and very distraught girl who couldn't have been older than 20 or 25.
Oh, dang.
"Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was running down the street so I could barely hear you," she cried. "I just switched you out of my AirPods. Is that better? Sorry, I completely lost track of time at work, but I knew you were coming. That's why I'm literally running home right now. Please don't leave. I'm starving and I don't have a car. Seriously, right. Please don't leave. 5 minutes tops, okay? Dang. I know what it's like to be hungry and running late, and have no car but not live near any restaurants.
But you also know what it's like to really, really need to pee and not have a place to go. Even though everything is dark on the city block, it's still town and it's still somebody else's property. But I ain't gonna lie, y'all. As a guy, I'd probably just go in the dark or whatever and just pee somewhere in company uniform. Though this is really, really bad because you could get fired, you know?
Plus, when I heard her voice, I began to remember more specifically having delivered to this place a couple times before, and she'd always been perfectly nice.
Alright.
Now I felt bad for snapping at her. I tried to walk it back, while simultaneously looking out my window for potential spots to pee. No, my bad. I'm letting the heat get to me, and it's not your fault. No need to rush. See you when you get here. I hung up, and while surveilling the street, was starting to think I was really out of luck. All the other houses had people in them, and were close together.
Right.
So there were no clumps of trees or out-of-the-way patches of land or anything.
Right.
Of course, I had just tossed my empty water bottle at the last delivery because I'm an idiot. Finally, I decided it was escalating to the point of an emergency.
Yeah.
And the safest bet was to use a bush in front of the woman's house.
There you go.
She wasn't home. The streetlight was out so no one would see me. The people who were home were inside. My car was parked across the street, and we're a small shop who don't wear uniforms.
Right.
So if someone did spot me, they'd have no way to connect me to my employer.
Okay, that's good.
Animals pee outside all the time. Humans are animals. This is fine.
Can you imagine all of these thoughts going through your head like, I need a pee so bad. You know how it is when you really need a pee, guys. It's especially when he said it's an emergency situation. You can't think straight. You have to go. It's really, really bad. And you're just looking for outs. And at the same time, you're scared of losing your job. That's so frustrating, man.
I scurried over to the tallest bush in her front yard. She didn't really have much of a yard.
Right.
More just a walkway lined with bushes and flowers that ran adjacent to her front door. The biggest cluster of bushes, the only one where I could be sure there were no visible splatter on the side of the house, was about 4 feet from her door. I looked both ways, unzipped, and let fly. After the initial millisecond of relief, I noticed the sound was way off, more like pissing on something solid than something leafy.
Alright.
I started panicking, thinking I'd aim wrong. But once I started, I couldn't stop midstream, so I kept squinting into the darkness to see if maybe I was hitting a key rock or something and could just move a few inches over.
Don't tell me you were peeing on somebody.
Instead, all of a sudden, I heard a way more concerning noise. A deep voice exclaiming, "What the fuck?"
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Ha! I feel for this dude. Holy crap!
And before I could turn around, assuming I'd been caught by a neighbor, a man came leaping out of the bushes. He blew by me, brushing my golden shower off him as he did. He spit pretty emphatically on the ground, so I think I might have beamed him right in the face.
Oh my god!
I didn't see where he went after a few paces, but though this next part is kind of a blur, I do think I remember hearing a car screech out from a bit further away after a minute. I'd gotten some night vision by that point, so I was able to make out his height, build, and outfit, but only the most general details of each. I was in such shock that I didn't even put my dick away.
You know, I'm thinking that it was kind of a squatter or a homeless guy just kind of sleeping in the bushes, but what if it was more sinister? What if it was like a stalker or somebody waiting for the girl to come home, you know, to do something bad to her?
I just stood there trying to figure out what had happened.
Yeah.
The reality was so terrifying that my mind refused to accept it, and impulsively searched for a reasonable explanation that could make everything okay. I thought, could these bushes lead to some backyard area and just look like they were against the house? Could they have been obscuring an open window? My inner voice was desperately screaming, bruh, that man was wearing a hoodie in 90-degree weather. That was a bad man. You were in a bad situation.
God.
But the very idea that I was within inches of a guy who would be hiding in the bushes at all, let alone in front of a young woman's house at night, just wasn't something I was ready to grapple with yet.
Wow.
I was coping by not coping. My fight or flight response totally failed me at that point because my dumbass did the absolute last thing I should have done and approached the bushes to try and validate this. There must have been a good reason for a man in a hoodie to be behind these bushes in the middle of the night theory. So I walked over to the side, turned on my phone flashlight, and tried to peer around the line of shrubbery.
Right.
Pro tip, as scary as things may look in the dark, seeing them with a single beam of your flashlight can sometimes make it even worse.
Yep.
That's when I saw the bag. There was a tattered drawstring bag sitting behind the bushes, slightly splashed with pee. But I was in such a moronic daze from shock that I groped around for it, thinking, see? This is it. This will explain why he was back here. It explained it.
What the hell?
Once I maneuvered it over and pulled it open, I saw a sharp knife, a roll of duct tape, and a bottle of pills. The delusions officially broke at that point, and all the adrenaline, endorphins, and self-preservation instincts that had been suppressed kicked in 10 times over. I became whatever the opposite of dazed is, more laser-focused than I have been in my entire life, with one singular goal: get back to my car. I dropped the bag, booked it across the street, got in my car, and slammed the pedal to the floor before the door was even all the way closed. I went as far as I could, as fast as I could, until I hit a red signal. Then I pulled off to the side and realized I shouldn't be driving any more than necessary in the condition I was in. I pulled into the parking lot of a 24-hour drugstore and took a breath. I was finally calm and coherent enough to zip up and formulate a plan of action. My first lucid thought was, who do I call first? The police or the girl whose house that was? I thought about it for what couldn't have been more than 10 seconds, but felt like an hour, and decided, okay, I am in my locked car with the engine running. If trouble starts, I can drive away. I know something's up, she might not.
Right.
She needs to know not to keep walking in that direction.
Correct.
But as I was calling her number, it occurred to me, what if there was no girl? I thought I remembered delivering to that house before, but what if I was wrong? What if the girl on the phone was just a decoy to get me there to rob me, or worse?
What?
Every pizza guy on the planet has seen the Evil Genius documentary by now, so I thought, she called me all out of breath. She wasn't home. The whole thing was off. Can't risk it. I'll start with the cops. I called 911. The operator was being very helpful in keeping me calm because I was a complete wreck by this point. He kept assuring me that someone would be there soon.
Right.
I kept telling them that they had to get there before the girl did, but I was trying to express 3 thoughts at once, and really damaging my own credibility. It came out more as, you've got to save this girl because he wasn't after me. I was just delivering a pizza. Unless they mean they were after me, in which case there might not be a girl.
Oh
but
my
I talked
God.
to one on the phone.
This poor guy is falling apart, man. And I don't blame him. Like you said, his credibility was sliding, but like when you're frantic like that, I've been in a number of situations where I've been completely frantic. I once had my life threatened at a dealership that I worked at. I told a story a little while back on video, and I didn't explain anything thoroughly. Like somebody was getting stabbed in the back of the dealership, and I said they got cut. That's all that came out. Like it was complete and utter nonsense what I was talking about, and they couldn't derive a meaning from it. This guy on the phone with the cops, and these theories rolling through his head. Oh my God, this poor guy, man.
So then you should find that girl because they used her to lure me there. But if she's real, she doesn't know about the guy, who was also real. And there could be more guys if there's actually a girl.
Wow.
And you know what? Even if there isn't a girl, there might actually be more guys.
Right.
I only checked one part of the bushes, so I don't actually know. But we'll know which guy is the one I saw because I pissed all over him.
Wow.
I didn't mean to. This was back when I thought the girl was real, but not home. But she
Right.
might be real, so you really need to find her if she is because the guy was real. Finally, they basically asked me to stop talking and
Yeah.
stay on the line.
Yeah.
But that was when I saw an incoming call from the customer.
Oh.
I couldn't answer it without disrupting my 911 call, so I just ignored it. But then she sent me this text like, "Hey, I'm here. Don't see you." I told 911 she was there, and they said officers were only minutes away, but who knows how long that meant, especially after I'd given such a scattered account of the events in my panic.
Right.
I just felt overwhelmed with guilt, because my rational mind said the odds of her being a decoy girl for some large scam targeting pizza guys were low, and the odds of her being the intended victim of a predator were high. So I put my 911 call on mute, where I can hear them but they can't hear me, and turned back, heart absolutely pounding out of my chest.
What?
Compulsively muttering, fuck,
Dude.
the entire way. Then I took 911 off mute and told them I had returned to look for the girl. They weren't happy about that,
Right.
but I saw her meandering past the parked cars in the street looking to see if one was mine, and I waved her down, flashing my brights. She bounced on over to the window of my car, happy-go-lucky. I figured that was a good sign, that she wasn't in on whatever this was,
Here's your pizza.
but I was so scared to be back in the general area, and to not know what had happened or what was going to happen. I kept whispering, get in, and she was like,
What?
get it? Huh, oh, you want me to get the pizza from the back? I didn't want to make the same mistake with her that I had made with 911, so instead of trying to tell the whole story, I stuck to the bare facts. There was a man in your bushes. I'm on the phone with the police. I don't know where he is right now. Please get in the car
There
so we
you
can
go.
lock the doors.
Concise.
I was barely able to even get those sentences out, and I was shaking like I had 10 cups of black coffee.
Right.
I held up my phone with 911 on the call screen to verify it for
So
her.
she knew you was
I
serious.
thought that was why she got in the car with no further explanations.
Oh no.
But it turns out that wasn't entirely it.
No.
You still there? Is she with you? Is anyone else there?
Oh my God, dude.
911 kept checking in,
She
not
is
knowing
me.
who the third party I was talking to was. I reassured them, and we drove, more cautiously this time, to a location 911 instructed us to wait to speak with the police after they cleared the area. I didn't actually have to do much after that.
So stressed.
The police came pretty soon after.
so
A police car met us. I gave a statement telling them everything I observed, and she went to go speak to more officers in more detail than they needed me for.
Right.
It turns out the reason she got right into a strange pizza guy's car without probing any deeper into my story is because she knew who the man was right away from my description.
Oh, thank
She had
goodness.
an abusive ex-boyfriend who was apparently psychotic enough that he immediately came to mind from hearing, "There's a guy in your bushes." She later called us to thank me and insist on leaving a huge tip.
What?
I wasn't there when the call came in, so the kid who answered didn't know to refuse to accept the money. But the manager already promised the next time we see her, we can load her up with enough 1 free pie cards to last a lifetime.
Right.
Easily the scariest thing that has ever happened to me, on the job or off.
Wow.
I don't get the chance to tell the story much, because I avoid sharing it with anyone who could possibly know the girl or of the event.
Right.
But I'm not the same since. Even though I know he didn't even have anything to do with me directly, this truly shook me to my core. So, men in the bushes, let's not meet.
Us too, Spooked. Us too. God dang. that had me guessing all over the place, y'all. I don't know why my eyes are watering. That had me guessing all over the place, man. Like, I didn't know if it was in fact her trying to, you know, when she got in the pizza guy's car and the way he said, I thought, you know, I was like, oh dang, he was right. His conspiracy theory was right. But, you know, think about, you can't possibly imagine the shock that you'd be in if you realized that. And when your paranoia starts to get a hold of you and you start doing rash things and you get a bag that makes all your paranoia relevant, I mean, you're just asking for your mind to just go on a roller coaster. Like, it's surreal. Anytime that I've ever been in a situation that I panic, like I said before, I was just kind of talking nonsense. You know, people that are like police officers and people that are in the military, you know, firefighters, doctors, they train for the type of situations that they have to put themselves into that most people would absolutely freak out of. You know, a doctor can work on somebody that's bleeding, you know, that you and I, if we're not trained in this type of stuff, we freak out. They're dying. Yeah, they're dying. Do something about it. You know, doctors can just function. They can just operate. They can resort to training and just do what they have to. People that, you know, are getting shot at. You and me get shot at by a BB gun and we hotel and get the hell out of here. They can't try to kill us. Meanwhile, there's people in the military that are getting mortar shot at them and they're remaining incredibly calm and looking for the threat. Like, the thought of that is so nuts that you know, that they're trained for something like that. But people like us, when we get into a situation that isn't, you know, that we aren't ready for, it just completely knocks us off track. This poor pizza guy, I don't know if I would ever deliver pizza again after that. Never. I know I wouldn't throw away water bottles as much. I bet you he really regrets throwing that water bottle away now. Oh my God, y'all. Spooked. Such a great story, man. Thank you so much for giving me permission to react to these videos, man. I really, really love your content. You guys, I think y'all like them too. Make sure to subscribe to his channel right there. And there's a couple other videos that I reacted to him from there, guys. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off, and we'll see you next time.